This son of a bitch isn't gonna. All right, we're recording. All right, cool. Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Anime Social Club. Once again, joined with Kid Benji, your host with the mostest, which didn't rhyme. But joining today is, as always, Cold Waffles, aka John.
Yo.
Kuronuma, aka Bridget.
Yay.
With us once again today. You know, beautiful. What's today? Wednesday at 7 p.m. like we always start every single week because we stay on time because that's how we do. You know, punctuality is the slogan of this podcast and how we stay on track, right, you guys? Never off of it. Never,
that's right.
Always on time. Anyways, how are you guys doing today?
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent now that we are on this podcast.
Yes.
It's a great time.
It is.
Sorry.
And we're time traveling today, actually, speaking of time, back to 2011.
Oh, a great transition. I actually just asked you that because I just wanted some water. So, yes, that is correct. So today we are doing a year in review. We're going to go over some of the anime that impacted us, as well as many others in the year of 2011. So just go ahead and sit back, chill, relax, reminisce with us, if you will, in the chat, which we do have on screen. And if you guys are listening to the audio version of this podcast, we do have a video version as well on the YouTube. And there you can watch the chat go by as we talk. So, but yeah, we'll be sure to read off everything that we get on screen or in chat just to make sure that, you know, every single part of the podcast is experienced. There's not a single bit left out. So let me go ahead and switch over to the browser. And while I am doing that, let's go ahead and go over how you guys feel about the year of 2011 as a whole. Let's go ahead and start with John.
I think 2011 is a huge year because this is when people were watching seasonals somewhat. But even more than that, this is when it became a lot easier to get anime on the internet. Was right around 2010, 2011. That's when we started to see some of those streaming sites pop up, Crunchyroll, and then, of course, the less than legal ones. So this is when a lot of people started watching seasonals as they came out, was 2011. And it was a great time to start. You had a lot of anime that were kind of pushing the envelope in terms of production quality. And this is probably the most popular year I see people going back to. When people are watching non-airing anime, a lot of the times it's going to be something from this year.
Cool. What about you, Kuro? What are your feelings on 2011?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great year. Lots of my favorites are in the year. Kind of like what Waffle said, it's interesting how, like, when people aren't watching seasonal anime, like, a majority of these anime, when I watched them, I didn't watch them when they came out. I watched them after. And, like, I had just, like, started realizing a trend that they were all from 2011. And I was like, that must have been a really good year. And I, like, physically look at it, and I'm like, wow, there was really a lot that year. So, yeah, it's definitely a really good one.
Yeah. And funny enough, I can already tell this was definitely not a childhood year because a lot of it was stuff that I did not watch growing up every Saturday morning. As I scroll down through this really quick, but yeah, there was a lot of pretty big name shows. A lot of stuff was added to the overall general anime catalog, and you know, gave a lot of opportunity for people to experience the medium and have more access to a lot of different types of things to watch. And funny enough, I mean, I'll probably always remember 2011 as being one of the first years that really got me into seasonal anime, probably like a lot of other people. I remember the days of having a bookmark all the pirating sites that I'd have to go to watch all my shows. And I think this was, I think I started the summer of 2011. Yeah, is when I started watching seasonal anime, because I remember after that I started looking up what was coming out year by year. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then, here we are 8 years later. Holy shit. 2011 was 8 years ago. Oh my God. I've been watching seasonal anime for 8 years. Yo.
You're an old man.
Oh my God. I'm an old man.
Old man Benji.
Oh my God, dude. Dude, I'm having like an existential crisis right now. Let's go ahead and move on to the first anime of 2011.
It makes you feel any better? There's a lot of people who've been watching it for 8 years. And they're like 19 years old. So
shut up. Shut up. Oh my God. Dude, that's just
come on.
Oh my God.
Why you gotta at me?
Anyways, this isn't in any particular order, by the way, so we're just gonna go. I just opened a bunch of tabs. So if it seems like I'm frantically trying to remember who actually saw the show, it's because that was actually part of my plan the whole time. So you ain't got to worry about it. I'm just gonna move the chat over to the side so they can see the full screen. Okay. So Steins Gate. Either of you seen it?
Everyone's seen this, Benji.
Yes,
come on.
Seen Steins Gate.
Okay, just making sure. Anyways, let's start with the less than appreciative people in this group. Waffles. What's your experience with Steins Gate?
So I have a somewhat unusual experience with Steins Gate because I actually like the beginning of Steins Gate. I watched it. I didn't watch it as a seasonal. I think I watched it in like 2013. But I didn't really know anything about it going in. And so I didn't see other people's reactions until I finished it. And so after I finished it, I saw everyone saying stuff like, oh, just hold out until the second half. It gets so much better. And I looked at that and I was like, what the fuck? Like, did we watch the same show? Because for me, the first half was way better than the second half. Like it makes sense. It's a good, plot line. The characters are being developed pretty well, I thought. And then in the second half, it just all goes to shit. Like you have this very obvious quest line that they go on where they just have to erase what happened in the first half of the show. Like all the things that I liked, are just getting erased. And it's like, why did we even have the first half? And I thought it was completely unnecessary. And then the ending I thought was pretty good. Not the final episode, but the episode before that. So the first ending, that's the one that I liked. I thought it was by far the better of the two, without spoiling anything. But I ended up actually rating this show really well. I think overall it's still a quality show. It has a really bad part for like 5 or 6 episodes in the second half there. It also has some really unnecessary characters like Ferris, Mayuri. Honestly, Daru is arguable. Like, I think his responsibilities could have been put onto Okabe and it would still be a good show. Or they could have made him like less of a weirdo. I don't know. Just like some of the stuff he says, like the legal lolly thing, like, come on. Like, that's, bro, what are you doing? So yeah, I ended up giving it a 7 overall, but that's mostly just because I think Kurisu is one of the better tsunderes in anime. Still, she's not one of my favorite characters, but out of the show, I thought she was pretty great. And then Okabe, if you haven't, the voice actor on the dub for Okabe is great. He's having a great time. You can tell. Yeah, so that's how it gets there to a 7. I thought it had a great premise. The way it handles time travel is pretty good. It's kind of a cop-out because they're not actually time traveling, but it's the way of handling it without introducing a ton of plot holes. So it was good, but not incredible.
Cool. What about you, Kuro? What's your experience with Steins Gate?
I'm similar with it's good, it's not incredible for me, but that's just because, first of all, I probably need to rewatch it because it's been a really long time since I watched Steins Gate. And when I first watched it, I liked it. It was fine. I obviously finished it. I watched it at a time where I kind of just watched anything and was fine with anything. Well, I was never that attached to it. It's not like my favorite. I do like some of the characters. I like Kurisu. I do like Mayuri, but like I'm not that passionate about liking her, so it's nothing like that. And yeah, I mean, I thought I did enjoy. On the opposite as the general public, I did like the second half a little bit better. I actually started Steins Gate as one of my first. No, I guess not one of my first anime because I watched anime a little while before that. But one of the first I can remember, and I actually stopped watching it. And then I picked it up again later. But yeah, I'm just iffy about it. It's fine. Maybe if I rewatch it again, I might like it more. But I do also think they did time travel really well, like Waddle said, where it's like not technically time travel, but like did it well enough to where it kind of is, and there's not a lot of plot holes, and it worked well. So
yeah, cool.
Wait, I just want to respond to UEC.
Hold on. We'll respond to UEC in the chat. Let me get my stuff out of the way. I would just like to say I absolutely adored Steins Gate. I loved all the characters. My experience was exactly like those who have suggested it before. The first half was a lot weaker than the second half because the second half is the execution of everything that was built in the first, and I thought it was done fantastic. As someone who loves detail when it comes to anime, as well as people who like to, gonna do a trope, let's do it right. I'm looking at you, girl who lived through time. Time travel is a very complicated thing, and I feel like if you're gonna delve into it and add a lot of mechanics to it, maybe you take some time and make it, make somewhat sense while it's grounded in the rules and reality of your world. And Steins Gate really does that. And it does that very well at the same time, giving you characters that you all love and care about and giving you this complex world with some depth. And amazingly enough, you actually don't really get too distracted by the environments that they're in. Yes, they are in the same spot over and over and over again, but that never really bothers you because all the characters and how they interact is so dynamic and interesting, and you just love all of them. And I like the way they approach with the story and just how everything overall is executed. I just think it's like a fantastic show. I think at the time I rated it like a 10 out of 10 in my head, but honestly I'd give it more closer to like a 9. In that sense, there were a couple, weak points in the show. Now, if you look at it very analytically, bit by bit, but what show aren't you going to find without some flaws? But regardless, though, it was still great then. It's great now. My memory remembers it. I always reference this show anytime someone wants to say, "Oh, this show did time travel well." No, Steins Gate did it well. Everything else is just shit. So, anyways, continue. Waffles, you said you had a response.
Okay, so UEC in the chat says, how the fuck is Mayuri unnecessary character when Okabe's motives and character revolve around her? Which, I'm not gonna lie, it's true. In the show, the whole narrative basically revolves around Mayuri and Okabe's decision on whether or not he has to choose, between two characters, basically. And I found that whole narrative at the end to be, it was just like really drawn out, and it didn't really make sense. Like his feelings for Mayuri are never really fleshed out. I feel like if you're gonna have her as a character, it should have been fleshed out more instead of just repeating this thing over and over. I feel like they missed out on a chance to really develop her character, but it never really does get developed. She's just kind of this one-dimensional character who's there. She was his childhood friend. She'll always support him. She's cute. She does lots of cute things. But I didn't feel that depth from her. So I felt like if you're gonna have a character like that where he's making this huge decision, like at least flesh out her character some more.
For sure. And
yeah.
My counter to that will be, if you watch Steins Gate Zero, you get exactly what you are asking for, my brother.
Yeah, you do get a lot of money.
I actually dropped Steins Gate Zero.
Then you have no reason
I didn't like
to
Steins Gate Zero that much.
I think I got 13 episodes in and then I dropped it. Because it just wasn't doing it for me.
Okay.
To be honest.
I guess. Okay. Whatever. I mean,
But the reason I liked it is because it followed the ending that I did like from the first show.
Yeah.
But then they made this like I don't know. I won't talk about that. It's not from 2011.
It's fine. It's fine. Which, this is just more content you guys will get in the future. We got more passionate stuff coming, by the way. But yeah, so Steins Gate as a whole, though, undeniably a pretty essential show to the overall anime medium. But
I respect it.
Yeah, and don't you worry. And Maggie in the chat says more debates. Yeah, you are 100% right. We haven't even started yet. Okay, we got some pretty spicy ones coming up in the future, but let's go ahead and move on. Get it? Future Steins Gate. Get it? Okay, no one acknowledges that. It's Control W, right? I feel like I'm gonna close the whole window. I'm gonna be so mad if this closes the whole window.
No, it's just the tab that closes the tab, Benji.
I get so stressed out because I've done that before. And
then you get on my case for clicking the X. I swear to God.
Anyways, on to Hotarubi no Miroi. That's the last time I'm going to say the Japanese name. I just really like saying that one in particular. To the Forest of the Firefly Lights, which, funny enough, if you guys are in the anime movie club on Kitsu, we actually recently watched this, I think, 3 weeks ago ish, more or less.
Something like that. Yeah. I think it was before Mirai no Mirai.
Yeah, exactly. And the overwhelming consensus when it came to the show, well, okay, we'll go. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna start. So the overwhelming consensus to this movie was that, oh my god, it was so crazy, so insanely amazing, it made me cry, like all these emotions and all this other stuff. I fell asleep, or almost fell asleep watching this movie. Not because it was bad or boring, but because I think this is actually an Iyashikai,
yes,
whatever.
Yes.
It's a Iyashi, and it's a very relaxing, very soothing, very calm movie that I feel like the sound effects and like the art direction, I feel like triumphed over the actual story itself. But it was just like it was like a feel good ride. You know what I mean? Like it gave me, the a need to fall asleep to this, but it was still good. Made a lot of people cry, I guess, in the end of it. I don't know. How about you, Kuro?
Yeah, so I liked this movie when I first watched it. I am a big fan of Natsume show. Everyone knows this. It's like my staple show. And it's written by the same person. So I feel like I enjoyed it slightly more just because I know Natsume's influence on it. And I think I was watching it and approaching it more as like this is a Natsume-esque story. And so I just enjoyed it because I pretty much enjoy everything that she does. It's not as good as the Natsume series. It's a 45-minute show, so it wouldn't be. But yeah, I liked the character, and it was like sweet overall. So I think I gave it like a 7.
Nice. What about you, Waffles?
I didn't like it at all. I think I still rated it kind of high though. I gave it like a 6 or something, because I didn't like the plot and the characters at all. But I thought the visuals and the sound were great. Although they saved their best song for the end credits, that was a little weird. Yeah, but my problem with this was we have this relationship with a very interesting power dynamic with a little girl and a grown man, but the little girl actually has the power because she can, make him disappear at any moment, right? So that's never really fleshed out though. It's kind of just, it's like it's there, like this omen of his demise. Like we all know at some point he's gonna die. It's just so obvious, but they never really play up how that affects their relationship. They only play up the fact that they can't touch each other. Boo hoo. Like I don't know, that kind of bothered me. They also don't talk about how she's just a little girl and he's a grown-ass man hanging out with a little girl. I feel like that could have been touched on at least a little bit. Also, like Like, why are her parents like not a little bit more worried that she's spending all this time in the woods? Yeah, I did like the ending though. I thought that was kind of creative, assuming that
Don't give it away, by the way.
assuming the theories are correct.
We haven't given the spoilers tag yet.
Assuming the theories are correct.
Okay,
yeah, I thought it was an interesting ending.
I haven't seen any theories on the spoilers, which we can go into that later. But okay, let me explain the perspective of the relationship, right? And this is how I saw it in my eyes, right? So it was I felt it was more so of being in love with like a place and an idea rather than like a person itself, you know? Like I felt like
definitely, yeah.
You know, so I didn't really see it as a man-woman relationship. I saw it as a woman and then the spirit of something, you know, not necessarily like a person itself, but this idea and perspective that she was in love with more so than the actual person himself. So that's how I saw it, akin to someone who falls in love with like an area they like to visit, or like a particular piece of jewelry, or like a thing, you know what I mean, that has a lot of sentimental value to them, to which at some point you could probably say that they love this piece of whatever it is or this thing. But that was my whole, like, from the very beginning, that's kind of how I framed their relationship. That made it kind of understandable in my eyes, to like, and how I perceived it. So
I think in reality, like, that's how it would be, you know, if this could exist in reality, I think that's how it would be. But they didn't present it that way in the movie. Like, the way they're presenting it, they're definitely making it seem like she is in love with him as a person. Yeah. Not as a thing. Or she's like in love with who he is. But the thing is, she never finds out who he is, really. Like, we don't really get to know either of their personalities. We just know they spend a lot of time together and they can't touch each other. Like, I didn't feel like either character got developed at all. The girl just grows up and that's it. Yeah. Like,
but it's relaxing.
She doesn't change from when she's a little kid.
It's like it's like a chill, you know, sound effects. Okay. Anyways, before you get too off on a tangent, yes, quiz, just like the guy who married his car.
I do just want to say, at least based on his character, knowing the series of Natsume, typically, like, the spirits will look like humans, but they never were a human. They're not like a ghost or something. They're just like a existing spirit from like another realm.
Right. He's a human.
In Natsume, at least. Was he? It's been a while since I watched the movie, so.
So he's like a baby that
hold on, you're giving it too many spoilers.
Well,
okay,
no, the intro to the movie.
No, it's not.
To the movie.
No, it's not at the intro to the movie. Okay, there's like it's in the middle of the movie.
It happens like 10 minutes in.
No, 10 minutes is like a fourth of the movie.
I haven't watched the movie.
All right, next anime.
Next anime. Okay, dude. Okay. I've never seen this, so
you haven't seen AnoHana?
You haven't seen AnoHana?
Okay,
what are you doing?
Can you, like, okay, first of all, I hated this type of anime in 2011. Okay, I was a trashy boy who was coming off of Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And I wanted my action-esque shonen battle fights things. That's why I watched a different show on this list that you're gonna find out later. Okay, Waffles, intro this and tell them what it is, and then give your whatever.
So this anime, the flower we saw that day, also known as AnoHana, which is a shortened version of the full name that I'm not going to say. Like, if you don't know this, you're either extremely new to anime or you just live under a rock.
By the way, I knew what this was. Okay, I just haven't seen it. Yes. I already knew of its existence. Don't try to frame me like I'm some type of anime fucking noob out here.
I didn't name any names. I just said that if you don't know it, you live under a rock.
Yeah, well, I know it.
I mean, it's okay.
Don't fuck yourself.
I mean, maybe your name's Patrick and you're a starfish. That's fine. You know, pink is a great color. Looks great on you. But
thank you.
Yeah. So this is an anime that I watched. I want to say I think I tried it at first in 2011 when it came out, and I hated it. But the first episode made me cry. That's the only time that an anime has ever made me cry in the first episode. And then I picked it up again, watched it in like 2014 to completion, and I wasn't crazy about it. I think at first I gave it a 6 out of 10. Specifically, what upset me was it just felt so melodramatic. Like the whole anime is focused around trying to make you cry, and
Yes, I'd agree.
I cried in the first episode, but I didn't cry at all for the rest of it. Like the ending, I thought was just stupid. But then I realized I was putting way too much weight on the ending because the ending is a shitty ending, but the rest of the anime I thought was really well done. And what really made me change my rating for this anime is I read this book called Color Sukuru by Haruki Murakami, and the book seems pretty influenced by this anime, and it's like it made me look at it in a different way. It made me look at the story and the friendship that this anime is displaying, and I realized that it's something that had impacted me more than I thought. And so I actually went back, and I think I might have this as an 8 now, just because I think the character interactions in this are just so good, and they're unique to this. Like I haven't seen another anime where the character interactions feel as deep as this one. I still think that the ending is terrible, and the melodrama is way overdone. It's like very heavy-handed. Everything that's done, nothing is like subtle. But those character interactions are like masterpiece level, at least to me.
Interesting. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna pose a quick question to you before we get on to Kuro. Would you say the character interactions in this show are better than, not as good as, or as good as the ones in Kids on a Slope?
Kids on the Slope. Well, Kids on the Slope it's not even fair to compare it because there's so many less characters. Like AnoHana has a much bigger cast.
True, but I really
Kids on the
like
Slope
the
is like 3 characters.
Yeah, but I really like the character interactions in that show. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's literally double the size. I would say that this one still has better character interactions. It doesn't have to be subtle. Fact. So fact says, why does everything have to be subtle? But it doesn't have to be subtle. It's just nicer if it is. I don't like it when an anime tells me what to do, and this is an anime that's like, all right, you should be crying right now. That's what you need to do. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not gonna cry right now. Okay, I'll cry when I want.
I'm a grown ass man. I pay taxes.
That's right. I do pay taxes. I pay my rent. I pay my bills. I cry when I want. That's how it works.
All right, Kura, what about you?
Yeah, mostly agree with Waffles. When I first watched AnoHana, I loved it. I was like, oh my god, this is the best shit I've ever seen. But it was also first anime I saw of that genre. So once I started watching other ones of that like slice of life tearjerker-esque genre, I have lowered the score more and more. I didn't really like the ending that much, but I think it had a really good like premise. Like Waffle said, like the first episode like was pretty good. It's just I didn't like how everything ended up playing out throughout the series. But I thought the characters like relationships were strong, and they, like he said, I thought the character interactions were interesting. It's just I don't know. Basically, just could have been better, but it has something like there. Like it's worth watching. I think I have it at like a 6.5 or a 7. So
Cool. Well, seems to be a normal consensus on this show. Maybe one day I'll watch it. Most likely when I'm bored and out of things to watch, then I'll see it. But I feel like there's other things that take priority over it. Which, speaking of other shows that I need to watch. Okay, shit. I thought the next one was going to be one I haven't watched. Anyways, Fate Zero is another anime that premiered in 2011. And before me and Kuro just gush over it, Waffles, tell me things about this.
This is my most controversial rating in my library. Well, other than School Days, but we won't talk about that. But this is my most controversial rating. I have this show at a 4 out of 10. It pissed me off so much. Oh man. It made me so mad watching this show. So like most people, I'm assuming, I knew almost all of the characters, right? All of the historical figures
Oh,
that
whoa, whoa,
are
whoa,
in the
whoa,
show.
whoa, whoa, whoa! Is your problem with the? Okay, please don't tell me you're gonna say your problem is with how the historical characters are portrayed. Please don't tell me
Yeah.
that. Please don't.
Yeah,
No, get the fuck out. This podcast is done.
They portray them
I'm
and
fucking
do
done.
nothing. They do nothing with the fact that these are like huge characters, right? They have small like little allusions to their personalities and the shit that they do.
Anyways,
But
keep going. I'll tear apart your.
but they have so much. And then
I'm gonna.
you can't just make King Arthur a woman and then not do anything with that.
Do you want me?
Do you have any idea what that would be like in medieval times to have a female king? Like, do you have any idea? Like, because the show clearly doesn't.
Waffles, do you
Like,
know why?
Not in medieval times.
No, hold on. Do
But
you know why?
Arthur
No,
from medieval times.
hold on. Do you know why? Do you know why that's the case? Do you know why?
Okay, tell me, Benji, why?
You didn't
Why
watch
is King
Fate Stay
Arthur a
Night,
woman?
did you?
Did you watch Stay Night?
No.
You didn't watch Stay Night.
Oh my fucking god. You know what? This conversation. Okay, no, just continue. I'm not even gonna try. The fact that you said you didn't watch Stay Night, okay, immediately tells me. Sorry, just go. Okay.
So Fate Zero, the reason I watched this is because Fate Stay Night was so hyped, and then Fate Zero comes out, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's even better than Stay Night." And I'm like, okay, I'll give this Fate thing a chance because everyone said this was like the best. And I'm watching it, and I'm just like, man, this is just action death match. Like, I don't know. We have these really cool characters, and then they don't really do anything with them. They like the historical figures, their background determines like some stuff, but not really. They're just like figureheads. Like they're just using their likeness however they want instead of actually like digging in, getting some real research and applying it to the show.
All of this is just coming in my head because you didn't watch Stay Night.
Yeah,
So I'm like, this is
No,
answering my questions.
I forgive him for his sins.
And I just to touch real quick before we move on to Benji and Kuro, General Frances says, how about any with Nobunaga? Yeah, any anime with Nobunaga is instantly going to be shit tier. Like, we all know that. And like, there's one coming up this season. Like, I'm sure it's going to be shit.
Life, Death, Taxes, and anime with Nobunaga in it. It's guaranteed to happen. Okay, Kuro, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna have you to your thoughts, but I'm just gonna state one thing for you, Waffles. Okay, in the realm of Fate Zero, right? A lot of the historical characters are the result of people's perception. So is this a spoiler? Kuro, is this a spoiler?
I'm not sure.
Shit. Well, if someone wants... Actually, no, it is a spoiler because it kind of gives a little bit away. Anyways, I won't say what it is. I'll tell it to you later. But there is a moment in the show that gives context as to why everyone looks the way it does. And you know what? Look, Fate is complicated, right? But I think within the ones that came out in 2011 and 2012, which I think is like Fate Zero season 1 and 2, and I think they redid Night as well. Everything else after that,
it's a different route for Night.
Unlimited Blade Works.
Oh, that's right.
Unlimited Blade Works is a different route.
I will say this though.
I've actually watched season 1 and season 2. I can't believe I watched season 2. I don't know why I did. I guess I'm just a masochist.
No, because it's great. That's why.
But
I would say that as like a compacted like in a vacuum. The Fate Zero season 1 and 2 is fantastic. It's some of the best anime.
Not according to my ratings.
I've had it in my top for a while.
Sorry, I mean, when you're ignorant, it's really hard to argue with that. Anyways, go into Kuro.
I just have a question. Since you didn't watch Stay Night, did you like not know the context of like Fate Zero? Like what? Like, I guess not. Like what it's associated with in terms of the universe of Fate Zero, or in association with the rest of the Fate.
I know this one's like a prequel.
Yes, yeah, but like it is a lot. Like, I know Stay Night is not that good, but like watching it is really important to understanding Fate Zero and to understanding like all of these characters are connected to the characters in Fate Stay Night. So it's like, that's why they may not appear as like fleshed out. And also the fact that like, I don't know, the Fate series is not like, I guess there's a significance that they're historical figures, but like they're not, I don't know, the fact that they're historical figures is not really the main focus, at least of Fate Zero.
And that's my problem.
But the main focus of Fate Zero
is use historical figures if you're not going to use historical figures.
I mean, they use it in other, like they explain them and use them in other series of it, but Fate Zero's main premise is supposed to be basically telling a story between Kotomine and Kiritsugu, because that they are in other Fate series, and so this is like their relevance to it. So it's supposed to be about them. Saber is like very minor in Fate Zero in comparison to the rest of the Fate series, because
okay, you know what?
She's like huge in the other ones.
I'm just gonna tell him this is a very minor fucking spoiler. Okay, Waffles. Yeah. The in the show, right? The people who summon the servants to fight for them. Shit, how do I frame this? A lot of the times, the reason why the servants don't ever come out exactly as described in history is because they take into account the perception of the summoner. So a summoner's perception can alter the appearance of a servant. There.
That's described in Fate Zero, though.
Exactly. So I don't. Yeah, but I don't know how you don't understand. Like that's why.
It's still the same person, though. Like it's still King Arthur,
dude. Okay. Okay, so a lot of history books and hold on,
Alexander the fucking Great, you know.
I thought Ryder was great as Alexander.
Yeah, he was great, but look, that's the thing is that the perception of the summoners and the ideas are what gives them power and context to why they looked at the way they do. Right, there is a very particular character that I could describe to you in Unlimited Blade Works that very appropriately fits this this whole concept, and it opens up the door for all the other servants and anybody that hates on the historical inaccuracy of the show, and completely resolves it right there and then because of a particular character in Unlimited Blade Works. So
how convenient.
How convenient, dude! You're already fighting in a fucking cup to do a death battle royale to go for a cup that gives you a fucking wish. How much more suspension of disbelief will it take you to just accept the fact that King Arthur is a champ?
I don't have enough suspension of disbelief for this shit. That's what I'm saying. I think the whole thing is super contrived.
No, it's a good
like the concept is so dumb. Like, oh man.
Well, I love Fate Zero. I liked it when I first watched it, and I still really like it. And I like a lot of the characters. Ryder, obviously the best character in the series.
Yeah, I'm having a fucking aneurysm right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit since I've seen Fate Zero, so it's hard for me to remember some of the stuff that's like that Waffles is talking about and you guys are referencing. So I think it's been like a good 4 years since I watched Fate Zero. I'll
say the sorcerer. I think it was Sorcerer in the show, the necromancer dude. Yes. Fantastic villain. Oh my god.
Gilderay. He's the hold on. In my reaction to this show, I said that the only interesting character is never fleshed out. He's the one I was talking about.
Okay, okay.
Because he is great.
He's from other Fate series.
No, stop. Just Corel, he's helpless. Don't help the man. Okay?
Another series.
He's already on his deathbed. He's connected to those wires that keep you alive by a machine. Okay.
All right. Wait. I'm going back in. I just want to say that Fate is clearly it's a fanfic written by some historical guy who wants to see them fight. That's all it is. There's no plot. It's just pure historical porn for action fans. That's all it is. That's what Fate is.
Okay. So then let's just ignore all the existential questions to humanity and what it means in terms of like power and what people are willing to sacrifice for others, and the entire internal struggle that most of the summoners themselves go through, as well as the servants. Let's just ignore all that. You know what I mean? Let's just fucking throw that shit out.
None of that even exists.
Whatever you want to say, Waffles. That's fine. Anyways, we should definitely. This would be something great to revisit in the future. But I mean, regardless, though, I really did think it had some of the best action scenes that I had seen in a while. When I first watched Fate Zero, the Lancer saber fight was fantastic. I absolutely adored it. But regardless, it was a fantastic show, at least by my standards. Anyway, anything else you guys want to say, or else I'm moving to the next
4 out
anime?
of 10.
Shut the hell up.
8.5 out of 10 for me.
All right, it's a 9 for me. Nichijou. Haven't seen it, so Kuro, you get to do the introduction.
I have not seen it
Oh,
either.
shit.
So I'm the only one.
Yeah,
It's Waffles.
Waffles, take the fucking stage, dude.
So this is a show that really, I think, set the standard for random comedy. And now, even today we see shows that are very heavily based on Nichijou. And at the time, like this really blew up on the internet. I have to say, I was a big 4chan user, and there are just memes everywhere from Nichijou. And it was such a, like, this show is like a meme factory, because it is hilarious. Like, it's cute, it's funny, it's got the mood is just dialed in, the way that it's just perfectly random. I personally, I don't know what I have it rated at, but I do think this show is really funny. And I think it's something that has really stood the test of time. Like, the comedy is probably always going to be funny. It's just that type of comedy. And we have, like, the characters are just, they complement each other really well. So I would definitely recommend this to anyone who wants to see a comedy that's a little bit more recent. My go-to comedy recommendation is still Golden Boy, but
hell yeah,
this is definitely a show that I would also recommend, because you can see it, like, it's influenced, like, the top tier comedy of today, like Hina Matsuri even, but a lot of people liked Asobi Asobase last year. That show is basically just like a Nichijou clone in a way. Like, honestly, all those little the school comedies where it's just like random sketch comedy, they feel like they're based off Nichijou.
Cool. Well, it definitely looks interesting, and I do love comedy anime myself, so this is
I've had it on my plan to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely on my plan to watch as well, but that's kind of hard considering we're at the start of the season, so I'm trying to give my first impressions of everything. But I am glad that you said Golden Boy, so that's another
I always got to mention Golden Boy when I'm talking about comedy. That's just the funniest anime of all time.
Hell yeah, dude. Okay, let me go on to the next one. Maho Sojo Madoka Magica.
Oh,
now,
he's gonna have an aneurysm.
This was okay. Let me preface this with I fucking loved it.
Look who has the top reaction. Sorry, go ahead, Benji.
Oh, hey, it is Waffle.
When I was okay, so obviously I watched this early on in my anime viewing habits when they were starting to develop. So I probably saw this in 2012, I believe. And I was like, hey, like, I was just looking up, what are some, good anime through some, like, Google searching and shit. And I was like, oh, Madoka Magica. I was like, this looks fucking stupid. Like, why are they all happy and dressed up? This looks like some kind of dumb schoolgirl fantasy show. Little did I know, I started watching it, and then my fucking jaw dropped. This show is like, it took me, it was like one of the most fantastic wild rides. It's something that I absolutely need to revisit, and I hate rewatching shows like with a passion, but I had a really fun, like, it was a legitimate fun time watching this, and I like the way everything was executed. And if there's anything that I really appreciate in shows is when there's consequence to action, and the consequence is makes sense as a result of the action. And I feel like this anime does that really well overall throughout the entirety of the show. But
Benji, you have a question in the chat?
Yes. Have you seen the third movie? I have not seen the movies, but
you only need to watch the third. The first two are recaps.
Okay.
Yeah, the third one's the big
okay.
one.
I know they
I
know they do a little bit of stuff with it overall, but Yeah. So, anyways, what about you, Kuro?
Yeah, I like Madoka Magica. Again, it's been a long time since I saw it. I think I watched it in like 2014 ish. So it's been a good while. But when I watched it again, I thought the same thing. I kept getting told to watch it by like people who like a lot of moe shows, and I was like, oh. At the time, I wasn't really like into that type of show, so I was like, eh. So I put off watching it for a really long time. But then I was like, all right, I'm being hounded to watch this, so I'm going to. And yeah, it came out of nowhere. I was like, wow, okay. And I was like super invested. I like really, really liked it. And I think I gave it a really high score when I first watched it. It's at an 8 right now, just because I need to rewatch it. Like, it's not one of the top ones I'm going to rewatch soon because I don't remember a lot of it. But like the plot twists were great. Like they threw a lot in there, and I really liked the animation design as well. I thought it was pretty unique, at least like character design wise and stuff. So
Cool. What about you, Waffles?
Well, Madoka Magica was my first seasonal anime ever.
Nice.
So I watched this. I went in not knowing anything about it, and watched it with the rest of the plebs back in the day, and yeah, I honestly, my first time through, I loved it. I thought it was incredible, and I think I rated it at a 9 out of 10. And it was in my favorites. Like, I really liked Madoka Magica. I think it was like my number 5 or 6, something like that. And since then, I've rewatched it twice. So I've seen it a total of 3 times. Most recently, like about a month ago. So I've watched it pretty recently. And in those 2 rewatches, each time I bumped it down a point, and it's now at a 7. And I have a lot of gripes with the characters in Madoka Magica, and I've gotten into a little bit of a discussion with Yuisi in the chat about it. A bit of a long discussion. Well, I guess not that long, but yeah, I like anime with unlikable characters, but Madoka is just like, it's an unlikable character that it's not the kind of unlikable that I like to watch, because it's not that like uncomfortable sort. It's just, I hate everything they do. Everything that the characters are doing, it just feels like stupid to me, which I agree is accurate to their ages. But my counterpoint to that is, why not just make them older so that they can make smart decisions? Like, why do they have to be in middle school?
But I guess that would defeat the purpose of the story if they made smart decisions.
Right. But like it's just so clear that when they make this, they want to have these middle school girls go through all this traumatic shit.
Hold on. Don't get. It's in case if you guys haven't seen it. Well, just don't go into the spoilers, Waffles, because you're making this a perfect anime to do for our Saturday show.
It's in the horror genre.
I get that, dude, but they don't know. Okay,
oh man. At this point, everyone knows. Let's be real.
Come on.
Okay, they know it's something.
What about?
Yeah, they don't know what.
They don't know.
They know
what.
there's some up with it.
There's something.
This anime does have my most hated character of all time in it.
Really?
Won't say who it is.
Ooh.
But yeah, it does have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to Kuro. What are your thoughts on this?
I thought I gave my thoughts. Did I?
Oh, wait, did you?
I think I did.
Oh wait, I do want to say that unpopular opinion. I don't know, is this unpopular or not? I can't really tell. I think the Rebellion is a better ending.
Rebellion.
No, I think a lot of people like Rebellion better.
I think Rebellion was a marked improvement on the ending from the original series. And I don't know why people are so like protective of it. They're like, don't watch it. It ruins everything. It reverses. Like, I thought it was very much in the character of the people in the anime, I thought it just continued what should have happened. So
yeah,
for people who are on the fence about it, I support watching it.
Yeah, definitely watch it. I'm probably gonna need to gonna have to rewatch it. But I mean, this would be a perfect, which, to let you guys know, we're gonna start doing a Saturday podcast where we take a series, we go super in depth on it for however long, but we're gonna have literally anybody that wants to come on. So be on the lookout for that. I think the first one's gonna be Fully Cooley, and I think Madoka would be a great follow up, just by Waffle's reactions. But yeah, anyways, it was probably one of the first anime that made me not judge a book by its cover. I became very open to a lot of different types of shows, and it helped me kind of really expand my my whole palette for a multitude of genres, regardless of the premise. Okay, let's go on to the next one, which is Mira Penguindrum. Have not seen it. So, Waffles, do you want to take this away?
Sure. So Kuro is watching it right now and has not finished it. So I'll try to. I mean, obviously, we're not trying to spoil anything, but I'll be extra careful. So this one is currently in my favorites. I think it might be the only one from 2011 currently in my favorites. But I recently watched this one. I put it off for a long time. But it's something that people have been telling me to watch because I am a huge lover of FLCL, and they're like, well, if you love randomness with a deeper meaning, this is the one to go for. And I have to agree. It really lived up to everything that people were telling me about. And what pushed me to watch this was Sarazanmai airing last season, or this season, depending on your perspective.
Did you finish that?
I still haven't finished it.
Motherfucker.
But this was just as soon as I started watching this, I was like, oh my god, it's so much better than Sarazanmai.
Me too. I thought the same thing. I like Sarazanmai still, but this was way better.
Sarazanmai is great, but Penguindrum is literally, it's my number 3 anime of all time. I love this anime so much. You have all this weird shit going on, but it all comes together. Everything that happens in this anime has a greater meaning. Every single thing. You think that it's just weird shit, but it all really comes together. So this is an anime you can rewatch multiple times and still not be getting everything out of it. And that's one of my favorite things to have in an anime. And I think I've only seen a few anime that have that, FLCL and Lane are the first 2 that come to mind. But the rewatch potential here is enormous. And then on top of that, it has really cool choreographed scenes, really cool character designs. The music is incredible. The art, man, the art is honestly so you could just watch this for the visuals and it would still be worth it. So yeah, this one is a huge standout for me.
Cool. And how are you enjoying it so far, Kuro?
I am loving it. I watched 3 episodes of it, and I took out an anime and my favorites that had been in there for a year and put it in there. Because
Wait, it's your favorite and you haven't even finished it?
Well, it's in my favorites, not my favorite of all time. But
okay. So
who puts
incomplete anime in their favorites? Who does that?
Me, I have 2 incomplete ones in there. But
I'm kidding. Because I have Carol and Tuesday in my favorites, and that's because I know that they're great.
I have Legend of the Galactic Heroes in there. It's not done yet. But now I'm over halfway through it, and I'm still I love it more every episode. So it's just really interesting. The art, it's really what pulled me in. I loved Sarazanmai's extra colorful palette, and this is I don't know. I really like Sarazanmai's visuals, and obviously it has an improved animation because it's newer, but this one's color palette I think I like even better. Character designs are awesome. I keep every episode, I'm wow, this is spicy because there's just so much happening and being discovered, and it's so interesting. I'm totally invested. And I mean, if I end up not liking it for some random reason, I can obviously just take it out of my favorites, but it's pretty much a favorite right now.
Cool. Well, I definitely look forward to seeing it. It'd be interesting. Maybe we do a Mira Penguindrum versus Sarazanmai. I don't know if you guys think they'd match up toe to toe.
No, they like now that I'm watching Penguindrum, I see so much of where Stars on My came from. They're like really
Yeah.
close together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's another. You just gave me another idea. Like director breakdowns. Like Ikuhara, we can see his stuff. And
Yeah, I'm watching Utena soon as well. So
Yeah, I'm planning on watching it relatively soon.
yeah, get the main Ikuharas out of the way.
Cool. All right, let's go into the next one. Wandering Sun.
I think I'm the only one who's seen this. You've seen it?
I have not. No, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say I would be so surprised.
Go for it.
You have?
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right. So this one is my number 2 from this year. It's also a 9 out of 10 in my list, and it deals with a concept that is normally dealt with so differently in anime. Like, here we have someone who actually identifies as a different gender, which
wow.
it never happens in anime. They always avoid the topic. Like whenever there's someone who's like cross-dressing, they're just cross-dressing. They call them a trap, which I disagree with, by the way. They totally invalidate any feelings that people might have in wanting to identify as a different gender in the way that it's typically dealt with in anime. In this anime, they really explore it. They go into like how hard it is to transition, like the way that people make you feel, the way that you get ostracized and treated like scum and disgusting, and the way that it affects your family. So like there are just so much depth to this anime. I really think this is.
I want to watch this.
This show's like this was ahead of its time.
It really was. 2011, like 2011, we were not that big, like on transgender issues. So this was really ahead of its time, and it is incredible. Like I would recommend this to anyone, honestly. Like no matter how you feel about trans issues, I think this is it could be really eye opening. Mm-hmm. If you're someone who's uncomfortable with gender issues, it's going to make you uncomfortable. Even if you are comfortable, like this is something that will probably push your comfort zone a bit. Because there were definitely times where I felt uncomfortable watching it, and I'm very comfortable with trans issues. But it's just one of those anime where it's going to push your boundaries and make you rethink a lot of important issues.
That's actually really cool. This definitely makes me want to see it even more and become more of an advocate for it, especially nowadays with a lot of hatred going towards a lot of those types of things.
Did we say what I'm talking about? This is Wandering Sun. I just realized.
No. I said Wandering Sun.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning. Yeah. So Wandering Sun.
Horo Musoko or Musuko.
Musuko. Yeah, definitely check it out. For fucking sure. I just realized I have to do timestamps for all these. All right.
Boy.
Next, Idol Master. I never saw this. Who?
I haven't either.
Am I the only? Okay, I'll try to make it quick.
Dude,
Idol Master is the OG idol show, as far as I know. I mean, there might have been idol shows
before it or
what?
After? Did Love Live come out before it or after?
Love Live was 2013.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if there were other idol shows, but this was the first big one, as far as I know. So it kind of started the genre. And I hate it. But I know I just don't like large ensemble casts in like pretty much any type of show. I think whenever you have a cast this big, 13 main characters, it's just biting off more than you can chew, and there's no way to be successful with a cast that big, because you can't develop all those characters. What ends up happening is each episode, you're like, okay, this episode we're going to develop this character, and then we're not going to come back to them for another 10 episodes. Like that's what ends up happening, and I hate that. But I can definitely see the appeal. You want to see the dances, you want to hear the songs, you want to pick a best girl. So I can see the appeal. I think this was a show that was kind of groundbreaking in its own right. So I give respect to it for that, but it's not my kind of show.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Zombieland Saga or no, Waffles?
I think I watched it until it turned into an idol show. So like I watched the
okay.
first 3 episodes.
Because I think they do kind of like what you described, but it's more fleshed out because the cast is smaller. So I don't know.
Right.
I just thought that it would.
I think having a smaller cast helps a lot.
Yeah.
But it's not accurate because I've been schooled recently. One of my friends is really into K-pop groups, and I was ranting about like why do they have to be so big? Why do they have so many people? And she was actually telling me it's because of the dances. You can have a lot more involved dance moves, and the dances look a lot better when you have larger amounts of people in your group. So I think they're just trying to keep it accurate to how these idol groups really are. But yeah, Zombieland Saga having a smaller cast definitely helps it.
And yes, Akari in the chat says you should finish Zombieland Saga, and I 100% agree. Because it turns into something that you don't expect it to be, very much so, and it definitely happens after those 3 episodes. I'm telling you now, dude. I'm just telling you. Like, at least give it a shot. I'm telling you, dude. Okay. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. A lot of damn shows. Heaven's Memo Pad. Don't tell me this is another Waffles.
So I think I'm the only one who's seen this one too.
Welcome to the Waffles podcast, by the way.
Well, I have a few in here that no one's seen. So
okay. I'm gonna go through this one real quick. I didn't like this one because of the lolly aspect. I feel like this is appealing to a very specific demographic. They don't lewd her at all. I'll say they don't lewd her at all. But I feel like the demographic for this is just, you're not going to like this if you don't like lollies. It's plain and simple. It's a detective show with this lolly girl who never leaves her room. I think if you want that, you can get a much better version of it from, what's it called? The Cycle show that Shaft did. I forget what it's called.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about though? It's like 8 episodes that came out like 3 months apart, each one. Well, there's a better version of it. But this one, if you're into lollies, you're probably gonna like it. But if you're not, you won't, because she's not the main character. The main character is actually a guy, but I don't know. She just plays such a pivotal role, and she's just, I don't know. She was intolerable for me, or intolerable. Sorry. Moving on. Next one.
All right. Next anime. Freezing. Waffles.
I think I've only seen this one too. Freezing. Okay, so to justify myself on watching this one, Freezing was my first manga ever, and I read it before I watched Evangelion. So if you've seen this show, then you know, like, maybe not from watching the show actually, but if you've read the manga, you know that Freezing is a direct clone of Evangelion. Like, not direct, but like the backstory is exactly the same. Where I can't describe it without spoiling everything in Evangelion for the people who are watching it right now, so I shouldn't. But there are a lot of similarities, like a lot, with, like, you can just reading what's on screen right now. Humanity is under siege by an alien race known as the Novas. Like, replace Novas with angels. They call every time a Nova shows up, they call it the Nova crash, right? And they count them, so it's like, oh, the 10th Nova crash. It's just like, you know, the 5th angel crash, or whatever they call it, or what is it called? Second impact. That's what it was in Evangelion. So yeah, I think the manga has some worth, but the anime for Freezing is just completely worthless. It's just ecchi trash. And it's one of those ecchis that goes like a little too far, in my opinion. Like, why not just watch hentai? This one it's like high school DxD. Shots fired. I don't know why anyone likes that show, but
oh my god, you just you said the
I said it. I don't give a fuck. But
I don't like it.
If you have any controversial opinions you want to send Waffles his way, be sure to leave that in a comment, or we have links to all our social media. I will say this though: the only way I heard of freezing was because when Akame got killed was airing. The main boss lady was always compared to some chick in freezing, and that's the only reason why I know freezing exists to whatever degree. Which, by the way, Akame got killed fucking sucks. Don't fucking at me. All right, next one. Oops, I already put that. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let Kuro talk.
There it is.
It's me. Yeah. So this is the second season of Kimi ni Tadaki. That. Hey, look, it's me at the top too. Yeah. So I love Kimi ni Tadaki. My name comes from Kimi ni Tadaki. So I was gonna keep it long, so it's just the second season. I think I gave it because Kimi ni Tadaki is 10 out of 10 for me. But I gave season 2 a 9 out of 10 just because they drug out the manga a little bit, but the ending was really good for the anime. My only disappointment is that they never did more. I mean, they only adapted the first 30 or 40 chapters of the manga, and the manga is 130 chapters. So, which always happens with shoujo, unfortunately. But yeah, it's really good. If you like shoujo, I actually think this is likable for anyone who isn't even into shoujo, because Sawako is such a precious character. But yeah, so Kimi ni Tadaki.
Well, I look maybe I'll definitely probably watch it because I am a fan of shows like Fruit Basket and stuff like that. So I do like the shoujo genre, like Snow White with the red hair. I really like that.
Mm-hmm. I have Fruits Basket maybe at 10 or 11 for shoujo. Kimi ni Tadaki is my number one shoujo.
Nice.
So good. If you like character interactions like you talk about in Fruits Basket, I mean the whole cast for Kimi ni Tadaki has really good interactions, especially after the anime. So.
Nice. Yeah, well, I definitely need to put that on the list. All right, next one, which I can't. Okay, as you guys can tell, I can't see what the next anime is when I close the tab. And there's one in particular I really, really want to talk and gush over. And that's not this one, but I've seen it.
There's a really big one we haven't talked about.
I know.
I'm waiting on
it.
Really big one that we haven't talked about.
And if you guys can guess what it is before we get to it, you guys get 1 anime social club point. What does that mean? Yes. You'll find out eventually in your lifetime, but as of right now, nothing. So
if you can't guess it, I don't know what to tell you.
Ano Exorcist, or AKA don't say anything, AKA Blue Exorcist. So I watched this. I'll take it from here since it's been the Waffle Show for the past 30 minutes.
I've seen it too.
Yeah. So have you seen it too, Waffles?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, I would say Blue Exorcist is one of the above average shonen fantasy shows that I saw. It does a lot of really cool stuff. Nothing super unique and groundbreaking for the genre, but it does it well enough to where it's enjoyable. The biggest fault though of the show is that they haven't released more of it, and the way that Blue Exorcist plays out, it feels like it's supposed to be one of those super lengthy types of shonen shows.
Oh, I'll explain it. I got that.
And we only got an arc adapted as the season 2 for Blue Exorcist. And I
can explain why.
What the fuck? Yeah, because I'm not a manga reader, so go for it.
So yeah, I read the manga. It's not done yet, but the issue, when I first watched Blue Exorcist, I watched the anime first before reading the manga, and I thought it was really good. I go to read the manga. The second half of the first season does not exist.
Wait,
what? It's not canon. Yeah.
No.
So.
No. Wait. What? No.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
okay, you know what?
No.
Fuck this show. This show can go to fucking
Fuck. So they tried to fix it because with that new season that came out, that is an actual adapted arc. It has an anime original ending.
Is that why it felt so disconnected?
Yes. It's an anime original because the series isn't over. But so they tried to fix it by making that new arc in 2015, I think. It's not a new arc. It's that is a manga arc. But it doesn't make any sense because it basically ended the series. But yeah, it's at like 108 chapters, I think, right now, and it's really, really good. Like,
Okay.
I ended up upping the score.
I just want you guys to know I didn't know that, and I already knew this was supposed to be a long-standing show. My sixth anime sense told me that. I called this shit out without even knowing it in the first place, and that just pisses me the fuck off because I was very forgiving of it for doing that, but I'm like, what the hell? This needs to get brotherhooded.
It does. It does.
Along with Soul Eater, man. Oh my god, dude! Like,
yeah, I don't know why they threw in the anime original ending. Maybe because it's a monthly release. I think maybe less than that. Because I don't know. I don't read it regularly because I think it is a monthly release, and so I forget. But it's really slow with coming out. So that may have been why they decided to do anime original. But like, God, it's really good. Like the arc right now is really good. So.
I think it knew that they were going to have to wait a long time if they just went like straight from the source material and just adapted it full on. Because I would have to look though, in comparison to other, because I've noticed that a lot of stuff doesn't get adopted as quickly, or they put it off if they know it's not going to have a big enough impact on the community or just in the medium as a whole, depending on what's already releasing. So there had to have been something coinciding along with this, just did not make them feel good about continuing its release as well. But who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
But Ikari, I'd say Attack on Titan's more popular. Although I would say, I mean, I watched Blue Exorcist at the same time I watched the first season of Attack on Titan, which was like right after.
And
I watched Attack on Titan right after it came out, and then I watched Blue Exorcist with it because it was like, oh, if you like Attack on Titan or you like Blue Exorcist, blah blah blah. So like they are kind of coincided, but I feel like Attack on Titan just kind of overcame it in popularity. So
And the comment was Attack on Titan is monthly and they adapted it good, but yeah, so who knows? Hopefully one day we just get that full release. You know,
what studio does Blue Exorcist?
I would rather them not do it at all. If you want to look it up real quick, but
because I feel like that will answer the question, because there's a certain studio that I'm thinking of that would be why it's shit.
Okay.
It's A1 Pictures. So.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and then quickly, Kuro, just touch on this because this is gonna.
That's not the right season.
Oh, it's not. Fuck. Wait.
It's down there. It's the first recommended one. That's the first season. The 2011 one's the first recommended one with more from this series.
Oh, there it is. My bad. Okay, because we're gonna see Gintama in every fucking year for like the next 10 years. So just. Yeah,
I'll just talk about what was in this season. This season was the first season right after the like 201 episode, essentially season 1. And the animation was way more updated, really improved. It had some of the comedy took a step up, so it got a lot funnier. And it had one really great like serious arc in it. That's like one of the really good ones. It introduces a really big part of the plot. So yeah, I mean, it's Gintama. All of Gintama is great, but I'd say this as like my third favorite season of Gintama. Actually, no, fourth or fifth. But it's all of them are like 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. So
if you haven't seen Gintama, go waste 3 months and watch it.
You are not wasting your time if you're watching Gintama.
I know. What are you gonna do else with your time? Watch One Piece. Okay. On to the next one. I am assuming this is Kuro.
Probably is it.
Waffles, have you seen this?
What the fuck is this?
Okay.
You don't know this one? Okay. This is Sesekaiichi Hatsukoi is what started the yaoi boom.
World's greatest first love.
Yeah. So Sesekaiichi Hatsukoi came out. I can't remember if Junjo Romantica came out slightly before it or after, but they were around the same time, and that's really when like people were like, "Oh, yaoi." It sucks. It's really bad. I don't like it at all, and I watch and read a lot of yaoi, and I think it's shit. But I just wanted to. Is Junjo Romantica a spinoff? I'm not sure because I haven't actually watched Junjo Romantica because they get associated with each other, and since I hated Hatsukoi, I assume I will hate Junjo Romantica. But yeah, I mean, either way, they're like both the big boom of yaoi, and this is where you started seeing Fujos more in the limelight. So it's like an important series, but it sucks. It's so trash.
So finally, I found a target for All my yaoi hatred. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you can throw it at this one. That's what I do. Like, this is my prime example of popular yaoi. It's like decently rated too, like especially the manga. And I'm like, this is terrible.
I feel it. All right, let's go into the next one. Control W. Don't fuck this up, Ben. And Kuro again.
Oh yes. Yeah. So Natsume Yujicho. This is the third season of Natsume Yujicho. And I just wanted to briefly touch on it because the third season is really when Natsume starts picking up and becoming what it's known as now. Because I feel like if it kept the same, I guess, layout that it did for the first two seasons, it may not be as well regarded now. But season 3 has noticeable animation improvement because they switched studios. They went from the director switched from Brainspace and created the studio Shuka. This director also does Durarara and Bacano. But yeah, so they touch a lot more on Natsume's life and him as character, and they get a lot more interesting characters and interactions. And so yeah, that's Natsume third season. It's one of my favorite Natsume seasons, so I have it at a 10. So.
Nice. All right,
Yes.
on to the next one. And this is the big one, in case you guys
Oh,
are not watching the video version. Yes, they did guess it in chat. That was Hunter x Hunter. And so who gets the Anime Social Club point? That is Yuisi. Yuisi, don't forget this. You now have 1 Anime Social Club point. And like I said, I don't know what that means, but eventually it'll mean something to someone.
It will.
So I think only me and Kuro saw it, right? Waffles, you haven't seen it?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay. Well,
Ooh.
I
I know there's a guy named Gon and another
Yes.
one named Killua.
yeah.
Killua's best character.
Killua is best character. Well,
That's
actually,
it.
I'm more of a Kurapika fan.
Oh, he's my second favorite. So
Yeah, he's more so my first. But I will say, if you guys have not watched this, you guys need to watch this. Hunter x Hunter is the exemplification of quality shonen. I would say is the good evolution of the battle shonen genre. From Dragon Ball Z into this, considering that the whole story doesn't take a backseat to just the epic battles and the power-ups. The way that everything's intertwined into the universe makes sense. Things don't just power up because they say they do. The ability system and the power system as a whole is done really well. I love the world that they build. I love Gon. I mean, a lot of the characters are just super legendary. I would say, like, outside of the anime niche community that we have, it doesn't. It's not really broken into like the greater world of media as a whole as being like a prolific show or anime, whereas, you know, where Dragon Ball Z and One Piece and Naruto sit. I feel like this should be out there, and I think it is starting to make its way because I'm seeing more presence about it and more fans of it starting to pop up here and there. But I think it's long overdue. Like I said, this is 8 years since it came out, and people are barely starting to really latch onto it. Another reason why we do these year-end reviews, so you guys can see things that you haven't seen before. But overall, though, it's there's just so much good. Like the only bad thing I can really say about the show is that it's gonna be a really fucking long time before we get the second season. The manga.
there's enough now where they should be able to do one, but I'm not sure if they actually will for a while longer.
Hopefully it does actually happen, and I hope the manga readers get what they deserve because they've been through hell when it comes to
the current arc's like the best one.
oh my god. But yeah, it also introduced probably one of my favorite villains of all time. Meruem, was that what it was?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Medoka.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's a lot of great villains in it.
Oh yeah, there's
but-
a lot of really fantastic villains. But Meruem is one of the first villains that I was like, oh, this is like a Dragon Ball Z villain if Dragon Ball Z villains had like actual character development. I see. But you know, in all seriousness, yeah, it's just it's an excellent watch, and every arc is something different, and it's different and creative, and I think that's part of what makes One Piece so special as well. is that all the arcs are different and creative. You know, you're not really.
Thank you for complimenting One Piece.
You're not really. Yeah, I just like to shit on it because you like it. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I think that has kept One Piece around for so long is that it doesn't have this repeatable formula that it does. Like there are some like, you know, things that do occur in every arc, but there's a different creative approach to it, same like Hunter x Hunter does it. Whereas, you know, even though I love Dragon Ball Z with all my heart, you can pretty much break down each arc into the same formula time and time again with very minimal changes. Even when you go into even the non-canon like GT or into the actual canon Super, you know, they all follow very relatively the same formula, and when they do try to mix it up, it doesn't really execute very well and it kind of falls flat. But yeah, so I give so much praise to this show. So if you guys are anywhere near a shonen fan, and this is pretty much any anime fan will enjoy this, watch Hunter x Hunter. So that was my rant. Since you two got to fucking talk for an hour, go for it, Kuro.
Yeah, I think Hunter x Hunter can. I don't pronounce the X. I don't know how you're actually supposed to, if you are or not. But either way, I think I think it can be enjoyed by anybody. And the best part of the series is 100% the characters. I mean, if you look at the chat, everyone just keeps naming multiple different characters. It's like, this character's great, this character's great, this character, because the entire show is just a huge character study. And I could go on for hours about how great all of the characters are. I mean, my favorite is Killua, but I feel like, you know, if you talk to any Hunter x Hunter fans, like, they all have a different favorite character because they're all so fleshed out amazingly. And you're not supposed to pronounce the X. UEC says, cool, I've been doing it right.
Fuck you, UEC. I'm a grown-ass man. I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, each arc itself, too, is very different. And the one thing that I really like about Hunter x Hunter that is specifically unique is that, yes, Gon is the protagonist, but there are often times where he is not the focus of the series.
Yep.
Which is very interesting. And also the fact that, although he's a great character, I love Gon, he's not typically people's favorite character from the series either. Everyone likes him. He's a great character, but there's just so many really strong supporting characters.
Yeah.
I also kind of consider for a while him and Killua as the protagonists, but not really sure because everybody just switch off, focus on characters so much.
Yeah, I feel like Hunter x Hunter is what Dragon Ball Z would have been had it been given a lot of time to flesh itself out and develop into a more cohesive story overall. Because as I was watching this, I was reliving my Dragon Ball Z moments, but with a lot deeper everything, you know, across the board. Because I mean, you can see a lot of obvious comparisons between Goku and Gon, Killua and Vegeta, you know, like you see that, but it's like it's just taken it to a whole nother level.
Have you seen Yu Hakusho?
Yeah.
I feel like Yu Hakusho is the bridge between that because
100%. I agree. Yeah,
because it has a lot more taken from Dragon Ball in a more like Dragon Ball-ish way, and then because they're both by Togashi, so then Togashi took what he learned from Yu Hakusho and even perfected it in Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. Which I'm gonna. Did you guys want to do rants this week, or do you want to just do like whatever thoughts and whatever? Because I have something to say now. Because I actually have a really good thing that I'm gonna present. Okay. It's just a really quick thing, but I'm gonna do it at the end. So don't let me forget the thing. Okay, don't let me forget the thing. Okay, next anime. What is this? Oh, whoops, wrong button. Chihayafuru.
Yes.
I have not seen it.
This is all Kuro.
Yes. This is one that everyone should watch, though, I will say. Chihayafuru is one of those series I consider to be classic in the sense of how it's written. Yes, Chihayafuru season 3 hype comes out in the fall. We haven't had a new season since 2015, so it's exciting. But yeah, Chihayafuru is
4 years. Damn.
Yeah, it is. It's just so good. I just watched it maybe 3 months ago. Is when I first watched it. And like all the characters are just so good. Like they're so well written. The game of Karta, like however you feel about game anime, I've only seen 2, and both of them, like the game was focused but also not, so it's like kind of hard to say. But like the Karuta matches are intense and they are awesome and really
it's a
exciting.
game anime. It's a game anime.
Yeah, so they play the game of Karuta.
I'm watching. I don't even explain it further. I am watching this. I fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh. I love Kakegururi. I love anything that involves games.
Oh, it's not like those though. Like it's like a
no. Like anything that involves games in general. Like where it's even like a plot device. Like okay, I'm watching.
Yeah,
this.
so the premise of the story is that they play Karuta. Karuta is a Japanese card game where they have poems written on them and they have to memorize them, and they like call a poem and you have to try to flip it out of the way and clear your side
that's pretty dope
of the cards, essentially. Yeah, and so it's a lot about like reacting and like being swift with your movement and hearing things quickly and all that kind of stuff. You have to remember syllables. It's like really intense. And basically the main character is trying to become what's called the queen, which is the top female Karuta player, and both of her friends, the one who got her into Karuta and the one that's there most of the time.
Oh, I am definitely gonna watch this.
Yeah, trying to become.
I watched an entire season of a show based on where they had it was like a pop quiz competition show. So I'll watch anything that involves a game in some way.
The characters are the absolute strong point. Taichi is my favorite character. He's really fantastic. He's one of those characters that you get to watch develop so well. He like starts out one way. I don't want to spoil too much, but like, and you just see him completely change and become like a better person and a better character. And it's just so good. It's really exciting. And yeah, I'm really excited for season 3. It's a really great show. I think I have it at like an 8.5 to 9. Like it's really, really good.
Nice. Well, you've convinced me entirely. I need a. This is probably what I'm gonna watch after we finish Ergo Proxy.
Yeah, I think it's a series that can be enjoyed by anyone too, just because the cast is so great and it's like really interesting. The game is somewhat complicated, so it's like cool to learn about, and it's still got action because like the way that they have to swiftly move to get the cards, they like make it really intense and awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so hyped. See, this is why the reviews are so fun. Okay, next, Guilty Crown. Okay, has anyone watched this? Please tell me.
I plan to watch it because I know how popular it was / maybe still is.
I love the song for this.
Which one? I love half the
music. Second one, I believe, is the second one, The Everlasting Guilty Crown. I have listened to that song probably hundreds of times, but I
love the soundtrack. Yeah.
Look,
I have no idea what this anime. Like I know it has something to do with pulling swords out of their chests. Hold on. That's all I know. So I've been told repeatedly not to watch it, so I probably never watch it. But I've been told, do not watch this.
Which I would definitely not blame you for it. So I remember, I would say Guilty Crown is probably the first anime that I watched that I very much so leaned into the hype about. Because at the time, this was in the winter season of 2011, and fall. Sorry, fall. It was because I just remember October and Candy. So I remember leaning into the hype for the show, and there was literally so much about it that people kept talking about because a lot of the trailers had been released at the time. They're like, "Oh my god, the soundtrack's gonna be amazing. The visuals are gonna be amazing, right? How can they fuck this up? Like all they have to do is write a good story and like that's it, right? That's all they have to do." And I remember watching the first episode, I was like, oh my god, like I was blown away. I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic. And mind you, before this, I had never really been baited into thinking something was good and then just completely subverted my expectations entirely. This was the first anime that did that. Okay, you get to like the halfway point, and then you, like as a newer anime viewer, I was like, okay, is this is good, right? Like this is supposed to be good, and then it just for whatever reason, and it's such a mystery to me. I really want to look more into the background of the show, but it's like they wrote half of the script and then they like passed it on to someone else to finish it, maybe some interns, but it just blows my mind that you would invest so much into a show and then make something so mediocre. With that being said, though, the visuals and the soundtrack alone is what makes it worth enough to watch it in its entirety. Just turn your brain off. Actually, try to mentally remove yourself from cognitive thinking and then watch this show, because if you think even once, you will then see the numerous stupid plot holes and characters that get introduced into the show. But overall though, it was still a really fun watch. This is definitely something I'd recommend for any like newer anime viewer, because it's a very easy way to introduce people into what quality soundtrack and visuals will look like. Granted, the story will still suck, but I mean, if you're a newer anime viewer, like mostly you just watch a lot of really simple action-esque types of shows, or things don't really have a lot of depth, and that's what Guilty Crown definitely is. But it's still one of the first anime that I saw that involved the like beginning of my seasonal addiction, that I started watching. But yeah, it's maybe the next time I rewatch it, I'm gonna get really high or really drunk and then watch it all, because I feel like that's the only way at this point that I could really enjoy it. But again, like yeah, I mean, I guess I can't really complain too much, since it almost falls into the same trap of Sword Art Online in terms of writing, and how it sets up an incredible beginning and just falls flat towards the end. Like that, it just seems such like an easy problem to solve. It's like, just have the same people, right, for the whole thing, or bring in someone that can help the dude out, because obviously they had like, you know, you had something great, but I don't know. It's a complete mystery in my mind.
I remember this being really popular. Like, this was a really popular series. I know that.
Yeah, it's still relatively popular. Look, it's number 85 most popular on Kitsu, so it's definitely a popular one.
Okay. So comment by General Francisi in the chat is, the staff also wanted it to be a 2-season show regardless of possible difficulties. Well, that's fucking stupid, because okay, see, look at, I didn't know that. And I already knew that this fucking show should have only had a first half, okay? Because the first 12 episodes were fine, or the first 11, I mean. And then the second half was just is stupid, is the best way I could describe it. But I get it's a lot of people's favorite anime, because I feel like it's a lot of anime people picked up early on in their seasonal viewing habits, to be honest. So anyways, that's Guilty Crown for you. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Tiger and Bunny. Anyone watch this? Anyone?
Nope.
No? Okay. All me. So, Tiger and Bunny. This was probably the first superhero where they specifically used the term superhero show that I watched. So this is pre My Hero Academia and pre One Punch Man, pre all these others, pre Samurai Flamenco, before the whole hero trope really like took off. I really like Tiger and Bunny. I felt like they did a lot of really cool things when it came to the hero genre as a whole. I did watch it like a really, really, really long time ago, but regardless, I still had a great time while I watched it. They introduced a lot of themes that were unique to superheroes, at least in my mind, in the realm of, in the medium of anime. But I would definitely recommend it. Hey, if you're a My Hero Academia fan, if you're a One Punch Man, if you like the whole hero a trope, then I would definitely encourage you to watch this, because it explores heroes from a more of a business perspective entirely. I think it's more set in reality than these other ones, but still definitely something that I would recommend watching for like if you're a fan of that, and then maybe if you're like a kind of intrigued by the hero genre as a whole, also for shonen people as well. So yeah, there's that.
If I remember correctly, they did like a poll in Japan maybe like a couple years ago for like most popular like best series, and this was like top 5. Like, Japan really loves Tiger and Bunny.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
If I remember correctly, I think it was NHK did it.
Yeah, I will say though, I like Tiger and Bunny more. I like the way they do superheroes more than any other show that I've seen so far. I'll say. Like, I like it better than Academia, One Punch Man. Not the anime as a whole. I just like the way they do superheroes. I don't think Tiger and Bunny is probably as good or better. I would have to give it another analytical rewatch to affirm that. But I'll say it's definitely worth a watch, though.
Yeah, this is really popular in Japan. Like, if I remember correctly, it was like top 5, very popular.
Yeah.
Uh,
No surprise, they have great taste over there. All
right. They do.
So, and that was the final anime. Yay! Wait. Was there?
No, we skipped some.
Which one?
I
went off the list you gave me, so you guys can all blame Waffles for this error.
I got everything.
And judgment. I went off that combined list you gave me.
Maybe I cut him out. I think. I forgot because there was an OVA. Yeah, it was these two.
Oh yeah. Oh, one of those is
Okay, hold on. So we have 2 more. So if you're listening to the audio version, we still have 2 more. Don't hate me. It's not my fault. Blame Waffles. So if you guys have any hate,
I'm sorry.
If you guys have any hate, please direct it at Waffles. You can email the podcast at Kurogo.
There are also some big shows from 2011 that none of us have seen.
Like Usagi Drop.
Yeah, Usagi Drop or Bunny Drop. Also Gosick is really big, and
Gosick is really big.
Mira Nikki is really big.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Future Diary.
Okay.
So those are shows that like just none of us have seen, but they're definitely worth mentioning at least.
I will say this
really
about you guys are gonna fucking hate me. Any fans of Mira Nikki are instantly gonna hate me for this, but so I saw Mira Nikki. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I went and looked up the ending, and I immediately dropped the anime. That's just me though. I knew where this was heading because I saw those episodes like 4 or 3 years ago, more or less. But I was like, okay, I get it. And then once I saw that ending, I was like, nope, I am not gonna watch this. But I mean, the yandere character is pretty cool, so there's that. So if you like yandere, watch this 100%. Just was not my taste at all. And yes, general franchise, Deadman Wonderland is better than Mira Nikki.
That's actually 2011, and we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, Deadman Wonderland is 2011. I think.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I didn't know you had seen that.
Wait, have you guys seen it?
I haven't. Not. No.
Well, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's really, really good. Well, I'll say it's pretty good. Just know.
Would you say it's underrated then? Because it has a relatively low average rating.
I think the relatively low average rating though is because it has a cliffhanger ending that will never get resolved. Like this show is they're never gonna make a sequel for it, and if it does, it's by an act of God. Like this is one of the few, probably not one of the few, but it's like they only made this to promote the manga, however the fuck you want to say it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the drop off at the end is so hardcore that it's like, are you fucking serious? Yeah. So, but it's still really good. I would definitely give it a watch if you're looking for, if you want to see violence and gore done right. Fuck you, Akame ga Kill. I'll say that time and time again because there's so many goddamn fans of that fucking show.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Deadman Wonderland executes that really well. Again, that whole thing that I love, which is cost and consequence, actions and all that stuff. It does a lot of really cool things, and for as it's in the horror, which we don't have a lot of good horror at all in anime in general. Go watch it. It's only 12 episodes, and you could probably knock it out within a day or two. So if any of you out there, if you like that horror gory type stuff, I know a lot of you people do, because you're all sick weirdos like I am. Deadman Wonderland, go watch it. It's pretty dope. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and do Blood Sea. So who saw? Well,
I think me and Kuro.
Yes.
And this was a big thing when it came out for me, because I was a really big fan of Blood Plus. I really, really liked Blood Plus. For a long time, that was like my second favorite anime after FLCL. but like I really like Blood Plus. I don't like it as much now. Looking back, I think it definitely has some pacing issues. But I still like it a lot. I don't feel the same way about Blood Sea at all. I think Blood Sea is just so
bad,
incredibly bad, and it hurts me because Blood Sea is, I believe, the more popular one out of the two.
It is.
I've met a lot more people who've seen Blood Sea and they've never seen Blood Plus. And if you don't know this, Blood Sea is actually, it's like a remake of Blood Plus. It's the same protag, just like in a different universe.
I dropped both of them.
Yo. You just brought back a memory. You just brought back a fucking memory. I remember very fucking distinctly watching Blood Plus on the late night Toonami, and then all of a sudden seeing this bullshit, and I was like,
Blood Plus was on Toonami?
Yeah. It used to come on. Not Toonami. It came on Adult Swim when they had their anime block at like midnight or so on Saturdays. And I remember watching Blood Plus. I was like, oh, this is pretty sick. It's kind of slow, but it's all good. And then I saw this fucking shit. I was like, what is this goddamn tonal change? Like, is this the same show? Like,
this one they were like ripping heads off of like the like bunny things, right? Or is that a different one?
I think so.
Yeah.
The bunny things that like rip their heads off. Yeah.
That would be Blood Sea.
Yeah.
It's like comedic how stupid the gore
funny,
and everything is. Like all the blood and swordplay and everything, it's just so overdone, so over the top. But like in a really bad way, not in a pretty way.
Also, if any of you think that our collective dislike of any one of these series is wrong, feel free to message us and let us know that. Yeah, call us out. We might even have you on the show to talk to us with it.
Does it. He calls us
out. Cool. So that's Blood Sea. Let's move on to the next one. And this is going to be the final one, right? There's no other hidden ones.
This is the last one.
Okay.
And this one, I don't know why the average rating is so low, to be honest, because this I actually like even more than Nichijou. This is Plastic Neesan. Talk about a meme factory. But so Nichijou created a lot of memes at the time. Like 4chan was just blowing up with Nichijou memes. But Plastic Neesan created memes that are still alive today and very popular. Like this is a show where like everyone knows this, but they don't know like what show it came from, because everyone has seen the GIFs from this show. I guarantee you've seen GIFs from this show. No, like if you have been on any anime forum or anything, because they're just that popular. But a lot of people don't realize they come from Plastic Neesan, and I would recommend that everyone should watch this. It's only an hour. It's on YouTube. Like, actually, no, sorry, it's 30 minutes. It's there's just no reason not to watch this. Yeah,
I'm gonna watch this.
Each episode is only 2 minutes long. It's like the best sketch comedy in anime. Like each episode just sets up a different sketch, basically. And the style of comedy is very approachable for anyone. You know, it's not like too lewd or too highbrow or anything like that. Like it definitely hits the right spot. I think it'd be very hard for anyone to watch this and really not like it. I think the low rating is just because it's so short and doesn't really have any plot, but the comedy more than makes up for it. It's just so hilarious. I've probably watched it like 5 times just because it's a great pick me up when I'm feeling down. Like it's impossible to watch this show and feel upset about life. It's that good.
Oh shit. I definitely ought to watch this then if it's that short.
Yeah. This is my go-to recommendation for anyone who's looking for a comedy, anything lighthearted, anything as a pick-me-up. I always recommend this and Golden Boy to give you an idea of how highly I regard this show. Like it's definitely, for me, it's a must-watch if you're looking for more recent comedy.
Nice. Well, definitely.
I'm just gonna say Gintama.
Of course you are, Kuro. Now let's go ahead and stop you before we start talking about One Piece. Anyways, that is the end of the show. Yay! Claps.
Except for your one thing that you're gonna say.
Yes. Your thing.
One thing. So this is the last thing I'll end on. But before I get to that one thing, I just want to say thank you guys for everyone that enjoyed our 2011 year in review journey. this was fantastic.
Oh, and we're gonna rate it, right? Aren't we gonna rate it?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna rate it. I give this an A.
Mm-hmm.
What is the scale? Is it?
It's grades A, B,
Is there
C.
an S?
Yeah, you can do an S.
There's an S above.
Yeah, sure.
A?
We'll do S.
I'm not gonna give it an S. I just want to know where the top is.
Oh, you can have pluses and minuses. How about that? We'll just
I
do.
can't remember what I gave 2006 either.
I have it written down.
C, I think. I think we agreed on a C.
I feel like maybe I gave it a C plus.
Mm-hmm.
I have it written down somewhere. But off the top of your head, what would you normally rate it?
I'd give it. I don't know. It's hard. So I would give it a B. But it's weird for me because I feel like the top shows, like the consensus top shows, I'm not really a big fan of. But the more obscure shows I really love from 2011.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, like Wandering Sun and Penguindrum, I absolutely love. And Nichijou,
Chihayafuru. I love
Nichijou and Plastic Neesan, like I love. But those aren't the shows people really think of when they think of 2011. They think, Steins Gate, Fate Zero, AnoHana, Madoka Magica. Like those are like the big shows, and they're not the reason why I give it such a high grade. So that's why I get. That's the reason I give it a B. If I was just looking at the shows that I love, I would honestly give this like an A or an A plus, just because it has so many shows that like Plastic Neesan and Penguindrum alone are enough for me to give it an A. But I don't want to give the idea that I am a huge lover of the top shows from this year.
Cool. What about you, Kuro?
I give it an A because I'm not a huge lover of some of the bigger name shows, but there are so many other shows that I love so much. I mean, I have 3 10s from 2011. I think Hunter x Hunter, Natsume, huge show, second season, and Gintama. But then, like, I have a whole bunch of 9s too: Penguindrum, Chihayafuru, Kimi no Tadaki. Like, I really like a lot of shows from 2011. So, and even some of the ones that I don't like as much, I've only really seen 2 like trash ones from it. So, I can't really say that there's much that I really dislike. So yeah.
Benji. Where'd Benji go?
Benji, okay?
Well, while Benji's doing whatever, I will.
Oh wait! I'm here. I'm sorry. I had to mute myself because I was doing something real quick. Anyways, I'm gonna reveal the grades so far. So, here they are. Let me go ahead and widen that a bit. Actually, let's do this. I'll tell you guys the grades right now, audio listeners. I am just.
Oh, okay. Well, if I gave an A to 06, I gotta give an A to 11 then. Never mind. I changed mine. I thought I gave a lower grade.
Hold on, I'll show you.
I think 2011 is better than 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Cool,
but not because of the top shows. Because it has my like personal favorites in it.
Yeah, it's funny. You guys know your grades just by looking at them. I didn't even have to put the names.
Yeah, I know which ones I did.
Yeah,
I
so
clearly gave a D minus 2003.
This is Kuro.
It says dab.
Benji, and this.
Oh, it does say dab.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my only favorite in 2006 was like Avatar.
Yeah, we all fucking hate it.
Oh, and Paprika. I gave 2006 a high rating for the movies. That's why.
Yeah, we all hated 03 collectively.
I didn't hate it.
So yeah,
it was Wolf's Rain. So.
For the audio listeners, sorry, let me move up the chat a little bit. So for the audio listeners, Kuro has a C plus for 03, A minus for 06, and an A for 11. I have a C minus for 03, an A for 06, and an A for 11. And Waffles has a D minus for 03, an A minus for 06, and then do you want me to change that?
Yeah, it's an A. It's an A.
An A for 11. All right, let me go ahead and switch that real quick.
I think there's still a few shows that you might enjoy from 2011 too, Waffles.
Yeah.
I'll probably never watch Hunter x Hunter.
Dude, you have to, dude.
Really
Eventually.
But I do think I'm gonna like go sick whenever I watch that.
Are you gonna watch Chihayafuru?
I don't know if I have time.
Because I feel like it's very likable. Like it's hard.
I'm only gonna watch it if I can finish in time for season 3.
Look,
You
at
should.
I'll tell you this about Hunter x Hunter Waffle is that you don't have to finish it soon. You just have to finish it eventually.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I probably won't.
it's like literally like it's not. It is a shonen, but it's also not like most other shonen, and it's like really one of the best ones.
Okay, cool.
Right.
And so we're gonna wrap it up with this final thing I want to say, and it'll probably be a greater thing we expand upon later. But so like I was saying before, how Hunter x Hunter, right, is the evolution in this, whole progress of shonen, right? This giant genre, and that's honestly pretty easy to execute. A lot of shows have done it. They know the formula. They know how to do it, right? Okay. Isekai fucking sucks because they're fucking lazy. Okay. There is no quality isekai anymore, and there almost arguably never was. Okay. Because they just took the simple formula of Sword Art Online, didn't innovate anything on it, and keep it the same bullshit way. It's so predictable, so annoying, and I cannot fathom as to why this is, a very huge subgenre of shows for the medium in anime. Like, come on, like, do you not see the obvious cash grab that a lot of these shows are trying to do? Like, they're just extremely lazy, not well thought out, and it pains me to say because I like some of the isekai. Like, there is no evolution in the genre. It's the same thing every single time. Nothing's different, and there's no excuse for it because it's been done before with multiple other shows. Fuck all the isekai coming out this season. There. Sorry. Anyways.
I would like to just comment in the chat that they, talked about how we do a lot of the 2000s, haven't really touched older. That is because we all have watched series from the 90s and beyond, but we want to watch enough from each year to properly judge the year. We could probably do 99 at some point, I think, but
yeah.
Besides 98 or 99, I think we really need to watch more of the good and bad from each year so we can properly judge it. Because at least with these ones, we've seen both bad and good series from it. So
yeah, and over the past couple of weeks, I've been watching more and more older stuff. So I have more of a Kuro, help me here.
Familiarity
with the shows from back then. So I'm going to be diving more and more into these older shows because I've been really enjoying them lately, so that I can actually talk about some of them. But fret not, like we are going to get into that eventually. But
we're all working on it.
But fortunately for Jial, we actually prepped so the next couple weeks of topics, but these are all pending, they could change. But for right now, it looks like we're going to do a review of Anime Expo next week, talking about any announcements, any changes, anything that got, shown or any news from it, because that's a pretty big event for the anime world in general, considering Anime Expo is probably like one of the hugest ones, at least here in the States. So we'll be going over it, taking a look at what's come out so far from that event. Hopefully some spicy drama that we can talk about. But overall, it'll probably be a really chill episode. And then if you guys don't know, Waffles and Kuro share the exact same birthday. And that is...
Yeah, we do.
And that is about...
Leo's Rise Up.
Yeah.
Leo's Rise Up. So that is about 2 weeks from today is going to be the birthday podcast, which we have a very special one set aside for you guys for that week. So be sure to tune in for that. As always, you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, as well as like and rate us on whatever podcast app you're on so we get more of a bump up in the SEO searches, as well as share this with any of your friends that like anime in general. We kept this as spoiler free as possible, which I think we pretty much did for the most part. And yeah, find us on Kitsu. Social media links will always be in the description down below. Everything you guys need to know about us will be there. But with that being said, I thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. We love doing this week to week. And yeah, we will see you guys next time. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.